Surge in anti-immigrant hate crime sparks alarm across Canada as economic tensions rise. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. In today's video, we're diving deep into a troubling issue that's sweeping across the country: the surge in anti-immigrant hate crimes. With economic pressures rising, housing shortages, inflation, and job competition, hate crimes directed at immigrant communities are spiking. These incidents aren't just threatening the safety of individuals, they are tarnishing Canada's reputation as a welcoming, multicultural society. We're going to explore the economic factors fueling this hostility, how misinformation is spreading hate, and what actions both the government and local communities are taking to combat this disturbing trend. Stick around for real statistics, insights, and a closer look at the devastating impact on visible minority groups across Canada. You won't want to miss the role of misinformation in spreading hate, a crucial part of today's video. We'll break down how false narratives and online extremism are fueling division. Make sure you stay with us until the end to learn about the proposed solutions to counter this rise in hate. If you find this content useful, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay informed on Canada's evolving immigration and social issues. Let's get started. Economic tensions fueling hostility. Canada's economy has been under intense pressure in recent years. Skyrocketing housing costs in cities like Toronto and Vancouver have made homeownership nearly unattainable for many Canadians. Alongside this, inflation continues to push up the cost of living. These factors have created widespread frustration, and in times of economic strain, immigrants, especially those from lower-income countries, are often wrongfully blamed for these problems. They are accused of taking jobs or causing housing prices to rise, even though the evidence does not support these claims. Public sentiment is shifting, with more Canadians linking their economic struggles to immigration policies. The perception that Canada is too open to immigrants is growing, despite data showing that immigration is essential for labor markets in crucial industries like healthcare, agriculture, and technology. However, this economic anxiety has provided fertile ground for anti-immigrant narratives, leading to increased discrimination and hate crimes. The rise of anti-immigrant hate crimes. Although Canada has long been known for welcoming immigrants and refugees, recent statistics reveal a disturbing rise in hate crimes against immigrant communities. Hate crimes motivated by race or ethnicity rose by 32% in 2023, with visible minorities bearing the brunt of this increase. Police reports from major cities like Toronto and Vancouver show significant upticks in hate-motivated assaults, vandalism, and online harassment, particularly targeting South Asians, Black Canadians, Muslims, and East Asians. Jewish and Muslim communities have been hit particularly hard, with anti-Semitic crimes rising by 71% and hate crimes against Muslims almost doubling. The Canadian Anti-Hate Network has tracked a sharp increase in online hate speech, especially in far-right social media forums. These platforms have become incubators for racist ideologies, many of which blame immigrants for Canada's economic challenges. Some far-right groups have gone as far as calling for the deportation of immigrants or advocating for their exclusion from certain industries. Impact on visible minority communities. Visible minority communities are being disproportionately impacted by this surge in hate crimes. These groups are highly represented in Canada's workforce, especially in critical sectors like healthcare, hospitality, and caregiving. Unfortunately, this visibility has made them prime targets for xenophobic attacks. One such case occurred in March 2024, when a South Asian business owner in Toronto experienced repeated acts of vandalism, with anti-immigrant slurs spray-painted on his storefront. This incident echoes the experiences of many visible minority business owners who are unfairly blamed for local economic conditions. In 2023 alone, crimes targeting South Asians rose by 35%, with many incidents occurring in urban centers such as Toronto and Surrey, where South Asian populations are most concentrated. These communities not only endure physical assaults but are also the focus of misinformation campaigns that portray them as economic threats. Children of immigrants. The hidden victims. One of the most alarming aspects of this rise in hate crimes is the number of children of immigrants being targeted. Between 2019 and 2023, the number of youth victims of hate crimes surged by 198%. Many of these children, despite being born in Canada, are bullied and harassed in schools and public spaces simply because of their ethnic backgrounds. In one case, a young Muslim student in a Vancouver high school reported frequent verbal abuse from peers who blamed immigrants for job shortages. Incidents like these are becoming increasingly common, with immigrant children facing isolation, verbal abuse, and physical violence. These experiences not only affect their mental health but also hinder their sense of belonging, trapping them in a cycle of fear and exclusion. Parents from immigrant backgrounds now find themselves in a state of heightened anxiety, constantly worrying about their children's safety, which creates an even greater sense of unease within immigrant communities. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. The role of misinformation in spreading hate. One of the driving forces behind the surge in anti-immigrant sentiment is the spread of misinformation, especially online. Far-right groups have exploited Canadians' economic anxieties by pushing false narratives that immigrants are responsible for everything from housing shortages to job losses. This falsehood gained traction in 2023 when a viral post on a far-right platform claimed that a significant portion of new housing developments was being unfairly allocated to immigrants. Although debunked, the post fueled anger and division, leading to real-world acts of violence. Social media platforms, with inadequate moderation, have become hotspots for the spread of such rhetoric. Immigrants are depicted as job stealers or burdens on public resources like healthcare, despite multiple studies proving that immigrants contribute positively to the Canadian economy and workforce. Unfortunately, these false narratives have tangible consequences, with many immigrants feeling unsafe in their neighborhoods due to the growing hostility. Government response and law enforcement efforts. The Canadian government has responded by ramping up efforts to combat hate crimes and protect immigrant communities. The Canada Border Services Agency has taken a more aggressive stance, conducting over 2,000 business raids in 2024 to crack down on employers who exploit immigrant workers. These operations have led to substantial fines and, in some cases, deportations of individuals found violating immigration laws. Public awareness campaigns have been launched to educate both immigrants and native-born Canadians on the dangers of xenophobia and the importance of reporting hate crimes. Law enforcement is working closely with community organizations to ensure victims of hate crimes receive the support they need, and to bring perpetrators to justice. Despite these efforts, advocacy groups argue that more must be done. They are calling for comprehensive reforms, including better training for law enforcement on handling hate crimes and implementing educational programs to address racism in schools. Expanding legal pathways for immigrants. One solution to address the rise in hate crimes is expanding legal pathways for immigrants. By creating more opportunities for immigrants to obtain legal status, Canada can reduce the vulnerability of immigrant communities and better integrate them into the workforce. Programs such as the Temporary Foreign Worker Program and the Provincial Nominee Program have already been effective in addressing labor shortages while offering immigrants legal protections. Expanding these programs could alleviate economic pressures and demonstrate that immigrants are essential contributors to the Canadian economy. There is also growing support for the creation of special visas for high-demand sectors like caregiving, healthcare, and agriculture. These visas could provide a pathway to permanent residency for qualifying workers, helping to stabilize the workforce and protect immigrant communities from exploitation. Public education and advocacy. Public education is another crucial element in combating the rise of hate crimes. Schools, workplaces, and community organizations all play an important role in promoting diversity and inclusion. Addressing the root causes of xenophobia and educating the public on the value of multiculturalism can help reverse this trend of hate. Educational campaigns focused on the contributions immigrants make to Canadian society have already been implemented in some provinces. These initiatives aim to dispel myths about immigration and highlight how immigrants are helping to drive economic growth, enrich culture, and strengthen social ties. The path forward. How we can all help. Fighting the rise in anti-immigrant hate crimes requires a collective effort. As individuals, we can all play a part in supporting immigrant communities and standing up against xenophobia. Reporting hate crimes, supporting immigrant-owned businesses, and educating ourselves and others about the importance of diversity are all steps we can take to foster a more inclusive Canada. For businesses, complying with immigration laws and ensuring fair treatment of employees is both a legal obligation and a moral imperative. By creating inclusive work environments and rejecting discriminatory practices, employers can contribute to a safer, more welcoming country. Policymakers must continue refining immigration policies that balance the needs of economic growth with the protection of immigrant communities. Expanding legal pathways for immigrants and taking decisive action against hate crimes are critical steps toward ensuring Canada remains a place where diversity is celebrated, not feared. By standing together, we can build a future of unity, inclusivity, and mutual respect. Thanks for watching today's episode of Canada Chronicles. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share this video to raise awareness about the rise in hate crimes. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on Canada's evolving immigration and social landscape. Let's continue to stand together against hate and work toward a more inclusive future for everyone. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe.